Welcome to The Bad Broadcast. I'm your host, Maddie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of The Bad Broadcast. I have an exciting announcement that also makes me very nervous. We are on YouTube. We did it. After all of these years of saying it, of planning for it, I buckled down this last weekend. I got my studio ready. I have this gorgeous fake plant here from at home. I actually have one on the other side as well when I have a guest. Very official. I got the curtains up, the chairs, the mic stand. We did it. And it's been a long time coming, and I'm really excited for it. I won't lie, it is a little bit nerve-wracking just because I never planned on doing video content as well, but this is the way the industry is going. Okay, I bet y'all didn't know that YouTube is the #1 platform for podcasts. I learned that this last weekend. So if you're finding me through YouTube or you're just popping over here to watch these and you've been an audio listener for a long time, welcome to the new adventure and welcome to The Bad Broadcast. We do a lot of different things here. I'll give you a short little intro if you're new here. We basically talk about everything. I started this podcast in June of 2020 in the thick of lockdown, and we do a lot of listener submitted stories. We do a lot of rants. We do a lot of complaining. We do some positivity here and there. I like to dole out some maybe terrible advice when I can. It's kind of what we're doing today, actually. You can always submit anything to the podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at The Bad Broadcast. You can submit, there's a highlight bubble on my Instagram that says submit here. And so you can submit anything, anytime. Dum Dum Club, bad dates, bad in-laws. And then we also will have focused episodes, pretty often, like last week, or I can't even remember. My weeks are all mixed up, but we do like why I'm going to hell, or dumb things my boss said, or lies I was caught in. You guys get the point. We cover a lot here. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And if you have been here for the last 5 years, thank you for coming along the new YouTube ride. Let's get into it. I've got my coffee here, my standard coffee order, cold brew, sugar-free vanilla, heavy cream. They spelled my name Maddie, and you know what? I have a hot take. I don't care how people spell my name. I don't care. When I'm doing a takeout order and they ask me how to spell my name, I don't know. However it sounds to you is great. If you're going to be yelling my name out loud, just spell it phonetically. Like I don't care. 2 D's, 2 Y's, 2 E's, 2 M's. I don't care. That's my Starbucks order. And then I am also drinking one of these can special tonic cocktails, which definitely has THC in it. So things might get a little weird. I had to have one upper, one downer to get me over the hump to starting YouTube. Today we are going through our submission form. So submissions that have come in the last week. This is our monthly kind of rundown of what you guys have been up to. And what happened this weekend? I went to Ballerina Farm. I went to the Ballerina Farm storefront, and hot take, it was amazing. It was some of the best pastries I've ever had in my life. And I'm not being dramatic. The scone, the like buttermilk scone, I know what you're thinking. Nobody gets scones because they're dry, and they are. Scones typically suck, like classic scones. If you're from Utah, like I am, you grew up thinking that scones were like kind of like donuts, like a fried bread. That's the scone that I was raised on. So until I was older and like learned about the world, AKA baked goods, I didn't know that a scone was basically just a very dry triangle biscuit. Not at Ballerina Farm, baby. She loaded that butter up. I'm sure it was unpasteurized. I might have ringworm, but the scone was worth it. We got some chimichurri to go with our steaks. They don't sell steaks there. Sorry, that was misleading. It's basically only baked goods. The focaccia bread, you guys, the focaccia bread, like it blew my tits clean off. Like I had it the next day I toasted it with a little jam and butter. It was phenomenal. Do I think, like, I had to drive about 40 minutes to get there? Nothing crazy. Would I have driven further for it? Probably not. Would I have traveled like across the country to go to Ballerina Farm? No. Also, they have like a little grocery section, and it's just, it's exactly what you expect. Like I got a jar of yogurt, it was $8. I bought my daughter an apple juice. It was $4.50 for 6 fluid ounces of apple juice. It was actually crazy, but it was delicious. I was happy to experience it. Ballerina Farm, she's a polarizing figure. I like her as a person. I really do. I think that I don't know. I've evolved in my thinking of Ballerina Farm because I do think that people get hung up on her like cosplaying a poor person. I'm not too hung up on that. I'm not confused on how expensive her oven is. Okay. I know that like to buy land and buy animals and run a farm and have a whole staff, I mean, you got to have some cash on hand immediately to be doing those things. So I'm not too bothered by that. I do think I understand the conversation around her what am I trying to say? Like there's the concept of like choice feminism, which is, we get hung up that like feminism should be, oh, women can do whatever. And this is something that I've talked about that I'm like, yeah, feminism is just every woman gets to do exactly what they want. But obviously there are structures and systems in place that oppress women. And sometimes women give into those structures and systems that are continuing the oppression of women. Does that make sense? I'm not educated. I'm not like the source on this. Please don't come for me. I'm also learning about feminism, so I'm just doing my best. But I understand that conversation around it. But the scones were good. So anyway, that was great. And then, I mean, my week, like everybody else's week, was completely caught up in the CEO Coldplay affair. And, I had to do some grieving because I didn't know that Coldplay was cringe. I have been a lifelong Coldplay fan. The other day, somebody asked me who my most listened to artist was in high school. It's Coldplay, like no doubt at all. As a diehard Swiftie, I would say I'm an above average Swiftie. I'm not a creepy Swiftie. And I'm sorry, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Just sometimes some of us get a little out of whack with it. I like to think I'm a self-aware Swiftie. And I paid a lot of money to go to 2 Eras tours. They were phenomenal. Still, the Coldplay concert was the most transcendent, most spiritual. Like, if you think Coldplay is cringe, you've never stood in a crowd of 50,000 people listening to the beginning of Clocks. Like, that was when I really, truly, I like felt the spirit. And I was like, maybe the spirit exists elsewhere. Like it maybe even led me on my spiritual journey. Like it was the first time that I had felt like the blood coursing through my veins. I felt like my senses were awoken. Anyway, I love Coldplay. I had to really endure a lot of memes this week about how embarrassing it is to like Coldplay. I think they're kind of like Gen Z's, not Imagine Dragons. I mean, Imagine Dragons too, but like, why can't I think of it? Nickelback. They're like Gen Z's Nickelback, which I struggle with. I've had to come to terms with a lot of things in the last few months, such as I'm old and I am looked at as just a lame mom. Like to my nieces who are extremely cool. They're like 12 and 13 and they're like with it. And they're like just, blossoming into the coolest, most beautiful women I've ever seen. And like, I'm just like their lame aunt. And I'm like, you guys, you don't even know that I'm cool. You guys haven't even experienced like me as a cool person. I used to do a lot of fun things. Okay. I didn't just sit and rewatch Frozen 2 and then rant about it on my podcast every week. Like I used to have more going for me, but you know what? I still do. And you know what I have going for me? You guys. So let's get into our submissions from the last couple weeks. We did one in June. I'm thinking we'll maybe do these once a month. Like I'll go through the submission form because then that leaves room for other topics, more focused topics, maybe a pop culture, maybe a listener submitted, maybe we do a bad dates coming up. You guys have been requesting bad dates and bad in-laws. They're slated for the next couple weeks. So don't even worry about it. And also I did want to make one announcement. I will be phasing out the Patreon. So in order to focus on more video content, doing YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, I'm going to not do the Patreon anymore. So it will still be up. Like if you signed up in the month of July, like you're not just going to lose access to it. I will keep it active for paying members for the next like 6 months, probably, you won't be charged again because I'm not going to be doing new episodes over there. They already know this also, by the way. Like I already told the Patreon by the time this episode comes out. But if you're thinking about signing up, just know that like July is going to be the last month. You can still pay the $5 and get the entire backlog of episodes if you want. But I'm not going to be doing any new episodes over there just because I think that my time is better spent getting this content out. And it's a lot. I mean, you guys know I'm kind of a one woman show over here. I mean, I've got Dear Media, which is amazing. My producer, who I love. I also have some help with YouTube, but like for the actual making of the content and getting all of this out there, like it's just me, and I need to be spending my time effectively so you guys are getting what you deserve, Okay. So there's a little announcement and let's get started let's get started into these submissions. Okay, here we go. She says, I need an intro to alcohol class. What cocktails do you make at home? How do you pick a bottle of wine? What drinks are uncool to order at a bar? I'm new to drinking and never had the young college student drinking phase to learn what I like and what I don't like. You could start with a canned cocktail, not sponsored, but I mean, if they want to, I'd embrace it. I actually do think that these would probably be a good place to start if you're just looking for something that's not alcohol to just kind of ease you into like a fun little drink. But I picked this one because I'm also in the same boat. I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, first time I tasted alcohol, I was like 24. I was working in the service industry. I was working in like catering and doing weddings. And I remember one of my coworkers, I may have told this story before, but one of my coworkers was like, I left a glass of champagne in the back. We were like cleaning up, about to get out of there. She's like, I left a glass of champagne. I watered it down with Sprite. You're going to love it. Just go taste it. And so I like went back there, like my naive, I mean, I truly thought I was like the edgiest. I mean, I would have thought I was Alex Earl had I known who Alex Earl was then. So I'm like sipping this like champagne Sprite and then I didn't really, I'm not a big drinker anyway. Like at this point in my life, I definitely had like phases where I'm like, oh, I want to taste it. I want to know what it's like. But I am also very stupid. And this would maybe be a really good episode to have like, I don't know, a mixologist, not a real job, come on the podcast and teach us about it. Because I think a lot of us listening, again, if you're new here, I have left high demand religion, deconstructed that. I think a lot of my listeners have. So we're kind of not smart when it comes to this. And I don't know. What cocktails do you make at home? I don't know. A liquor and a soda? How do you pick a bottle of wine? Screw top, because I don't own a wine opener, and under $20. What drinks are uncool to order? This I would never know. Anytime anybody has ordered an alcoholic drink, I'm like, oh yeah, baby, that's cool. When I was growing up, I guess I was told that alcohol, it looks cool because it's supposed to be like very tempting. Like cigarettes and alcohol, it's like the world will make it look cool, and like it's not. It's really bad, but like don't give into it because it looks very tempting, and they make it tempting because they want to deceive you and all of that. And you know what? They ate with that because it does look extremely cool. Smoking a cigarette looks extremely cool. Have you ever seen a guy, maybe a line cook, just off his long shift, foot kicked up in the back alley with a cold beer and a cigarette? That's cool. And I wish it wasn't, because I do know that, health-wise, cigarettes and alcohol may not be the best thing to put in your body, but they do look cool. But anytime anyone's ever ordered anything, I've never judged it. Never. I don't know. Maybe like a fruity little drink because she can't shoot whiskey is the only concept I have of like what's cool and what's not. But this is just, it's planting a seed that maybe we get somebody on here to like walk us through it. Even like a wine education would be very cool. Wine is cool, especially if you're into like food and fine dining. I think that alcohol is like a fun little pair to it. I did not invent that, obviously. But having like a knowledge of wine, if you're into food and what pairs with what, I'm Michael Scott sipping it being like, this is a white wine. If my senses are correct, if my sommelier training is correct, this is probably something like a white wine. That's as far as it goes for me. So I'm sorry I'm not more help, but I'm here in solidarity that no idea what's cool. I know that beer tastes bad. I know that liquor tastes even worse. And I know that the more sugar is in it, the worse you're going to feel the next day. And that's about it. All right. Next one. Sometimes I remember that I posted a picture with my vibrator in the background of it and then found out a couple hours later when someone messaged me about it, but it still haunts me not knowing who saw the picture and didn't say anything about it. Like which one of my husband's relatives have seen my vibrator, eternally crying over this. Also, my friends and I all have a pact that if one of us dies, we have to go in and clean out each other's sex drawers. Because can you imagine a sibling or parent going through that stuff? I would want to die again. Anyway, now I'm probably just going to stress over this for the next few hours and not sleep. Love you in the pod. Literally the only thing that keeps me going sometimes. Girl, that's really nice. That's really nice. Thank you for being here. I have had many times, this isn't about the submission, but this is just, let me wax nostalgic for a moment. But there have been many times in my life where I thought, I don't think I can do this. This being life. I don't think that I can go on. I don't think that this is for me. I don't think I'm really vibing with this whole concept of doing life every day. And then I think about you guys and I think about the other things that bring me joy, but you guys are always at least top 3. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex toys and your friends cleaning out your your house. I think about this a lot. Like, what is my family going to find when they go through my house? Nobody let my mom see the cigarettes. Okay. No, I'm joking. Okay, they're in a really good hiding spot. No, definitely the sex drawer needs a designated person. Maybe like my spending habits. I would really like to protect those from like the world. I'm going to start writing out my will and who is allowed to go through what. Nothing brings me shame quite like having to do my expenses at the end of the year. Like when I start going through my taxes and I start looking at like how often I'm going to Chick-fil-A, like how many times I'm impulse buying at Target, like the shame sets in quick. It dissipates even faster because I'm back at it the next day. But still, I don't really want my like family to go through that. Okay. So please just if anything becomes public when I die, just know I'm not proud of it either. Sex drawers, here's the thing. You guys can't have you gotta have a pouch or like a zip top something and tucked away somewhere. Especially because like with kids, I mean, our bedside table, it's right at Coco's height. I mean, she's in it all the time. And like I get nervous. Like I'm like, she's gonna run in there and grab something out. So I have started hiding it, like in up top in our closet, like tucked away. It's a little inconvenient, I won't lie. I mean, sometimes I'm like, we're making out and I'm like, get the step ladder so I can get up to the closet. But still, you just have to hide them a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, the fear that runs through my body when I leave the house or like our nanny's with Coco and I'm like, she's going to our room to like put laundry away or something. And I'm like, did I put it away? Did I put all the gear away? Did I put away the whips and chains? Like, are they in a safe place? But yeah, you got to have a trusted person. That's going on like my life insurance policy. Who is allowed to go through all of my stuff when I die? Also, speaking of dying, I saw a documentary on, I think it was on Disney Plus, and the girl, I think she died. I'm not sure. It was a true crime something. And it was titled Her Last Broadcast. I was so pissed that someone stole my potential documentary title if something scary happens to me. Okay. And also, I want to make sure that my true crime documentary is high quality. I want high production value. I want HBO. Okay. Don't do like a Netflix thing. Don't do a Paramount Plus thing. Make sure that I'm getting the big budget if anything fishy goes on. Okay. Anyway, her last broadcast, it was so good. I was devastated to learn that I won't be able to use that. That would also be a good episode for if that title ever pops up on the feed, just know that that's the end of the podcast. That's how I'll announce it to you guys. I'm not going to give you any warning, but it's going to pop up and it's going to say Her Last Broadcast. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, every time I see someone doing weird shit at the gym, I always think of you. No one has quite articulated it so well, my feelings about this, as you have. People doing weird shit at the gym, usually men, enrages me. I'm at the gym right now, and let me describe this scenario. Wait, let me see. Let me describe to you this scenario going on before my eyes. Late 40s. Okay, just getting you're picturing this, okay? Late 40s, white man, no shoes. Already my greatest fear in life. He's using three huge blocks, two parallel in front of him and one shorter just behind those two. He does a handstand on the two front blocks, his head in the crack between the two, and then does a handstand push up before tapping or topping it off with a somersault into the shorter block. He sticks the landing with his hands in the air and then he repeats. Not only is he doing some of the wildest shit I've ever seen at the gym, but he's using three of the four blocks available to do it. Why? We need to stop getting creative with just like health stuff in general. I actually am learning this slowly but surely. We've kind of like overcomplicated basically everything in life, but specifically exercise and food. And I won't get too far into it. Okay. I know this topic is like not that exciting, but it's like lift a weight, like do a bicep curl, do a squat. Like there's no activity in life. There's no like marathon or contest or anything that you're training for that would require you as a 40-year-old man to be doing that many handstands and that many somersaults. Okay, if I'm seeing a maybe 9-year-old doing that before a gymnastics meet, I'm going to be fine with it. 40-year-old men, name one thing that they need to be doing a handstand for. Name it. Nothing. I don't think there's one reason for a white man to be upside down, period. I'm trying to think. Anytime a white man in his 40s, bare feet, upside down, I've been scared. Cirque du Soleil. Okay, there used to be this show at Disney World called La Nuba, and we went every single year. We did Disney World as a family. So one night we'd always go to La Nuba, and there's an opening scene. Please look it up. Okay, if you want to have nightmares for the next like 6 to 8 years, just look it up. There's the opening like sequence is just this guy in a wrestling singlet, clown makeup on, and a bowler hat, and he creeps and crawls around the audience. He's doing flips, he's doing somersaults, he's interacting with the audience. Can we talk about being interacted with as an audience member? Talk about something I never want to happen. When we go to comedy shows, Gray always wants to be on the front row because he thinks it's fun. Okay, he wants to like do a little back and forth with the comedian. He wants to be roasted a little bit. Like he thinks that's funny. Personally, I would rather be taken out back like a broke leg horse and shot directly in the face. I don't want to be interacted with. I don't want to be chosen at a magic show. I don't want to be roasted by a comedian, and I certainly don't want the man from La Nuba to be stroking my hair. Okay? Like it's so scary. Anyway, he's doing flips and it's unnatural. Upside down men, absolutely not. Okay, next one. Longtime listener, first time submitter. I've been a hater this week and I need to rage. Don't dirty talk me in my first YouTube video. Come on. People that don't wear headphones at the gym. Why? Headphones should be a requirement upon entry. No headphones, no entry, no exceptions. I don't want to be thinking that you can hear me huffing and puffing, walking on a treadmill at 3. Oh, okay. So she's not even mad that people are like listening to music out loud. She's mad that people can hear them. And you know what? I can get behind that. You have to either have earplugs or headphones on. Silent. It has to be a sensory deprivation experience for you to enter the gym. I can support this. I also like the times in my life where I've forgotten headphones and I am the one hearing the noises of the gym. I mean, you would think it was an origin. I was going to say an orgy happening on the Blue Origin space flight. That's the noises that happen at the gym. Men being loud, grunting, women breathing heavy. Like it's too many sexual noises happening. And you guys know, I used to go to that really horny gym. My gym's not horny anymore. I changed because I liked the childcare at this other one that's closer to me. But I used to go to like the horniest gym in Utah. It was so horny that when I said that, I had people messaging me being like, it's the Kaysville Bossa. And I'm like, you're right. You know, I mean, I think I said it last time, but the lights are going out there and people are starting to touch. Like you just know it. So I don't go there anymore, thank goodness. And my gym now is very quiet. A lot of carpet in my new gym, but I don't mind it too much. I really like the childcare and my fellow members. I've made some friends there and I like it. Okay, the next thing she's complaining about, another gym thing. People that get onto the treadmill right next to you when there are 17 free ones. I believe treadmill and urinal etiquette are one and the same. If not the treadmill right next to me, let's see, if the Oh my goodness. If the treadmill right next to me is the only free one, fine. But if not, GTFO. This is just a social behavior rule, blanket statement. You don't need to be close to people if it's not required for you to be close to them. Bring back COVID protocols. Okay. I liked standing in line 6 feet away from everyone. Like when I'm in a line, I was at H&M the other day and I was standing. So, they have like the ropes and then it kind of curves around and then you can like stand and, or that's when you like are paying. And typically you would think that the next person would be standing like by the ropes, which is like, 10 feet back. The guy was standing right behind me in line. Like maybe that was normal like 6 years ago. I honestly can't remember a lot of, I would say the years between 2016 and 2020, they're all kind of a blur for me, but maybe that was normal. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was turning around, I was looking at him, smiling like this. Hi, do you need something? Do you need like, I don't know. In my cranky older years, I'm 30, I'm not old, but as I've gotten older, I've just started like sticking up for myself a little bit and making sure that people know when things are weird. Like, I just think if no one's going to tell you, I'm going to be the one to tell you. Like, if you're standing too close to me, I'm going to mention it. There's no reason. I mean, you're breathing down my neck. I'm on a full court press just trying to buy my 15th black t-shirt. Like, just back up a little bit, buddy. So yeah, treadmills, urinals, bathroom stalls, even like you can back up. I think it's fine. Okay, next one. This one I can't relate to, but I do have a rage to come after. She says that she's upset at Texas drivers. That's it. I thought Utah drivers were bad. I have no words. You know what? I have a really hot take, and it's that I actually prefer driving in California to driving in Utah or any other smaller place. And let me tell you why. Big cities, I feel like everybody knows that driving there sucks. And so there's this sense of camaraderie. Like we're all on the same team. Yeah, I get it. You gotta get over. You gotta kind of cut me off. You got like everybody kind of knows. Like, yeah, we're stuck in traffic. We all have to help each other. It's not every person for themselves. Okay, we're using some teamwork. Most other places that I've driven, that does not exist. And let me do a big fat PSA for you guys. Get out of the left lane. If you're not passing somebody and if somebody is directly behind you, get over. You don't need to be cruising in the far left lane at 70 miles an hour. And like, I get it. Sometimes, whatever. I don't even want to go into it because the things I've done because of road rage have embarrassed me greatly. The other day, actually, I thought I was being a very pleasant road member. I thought I was, I wasn't texting. I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was getting over when I should have. I wasn't speeding. And this girl next to me gave me the finger. And, I embrace that when people do it to me because I have done it to people. It's the same thing with like honking. I'm like, I get honk happy when I'm in the car. Like I'm honking at everyone. Sometimes I'm just honking to just let people know I'm there. And so when people honk at me, I don't get bugged because that's one of those things. If I'm going to dish it, I better take it. So when people flip me off, I'm like, I get it because I get pissed at people for no reason. And I invent some story about how like they are personally out to get me. Like this person got in their car this morning, found me, drove next to me just so that I could have a bad day. I invent that story. So I get a little mad. I'm getting better at it. You guys should read. Oh, okay. Let's take a sharp left turn and talk about how I have tried to remedy this rage inside me, specifically on the road. There's the burnt toast theory. I think that a lot of people like, but there's also an essay from David Foster Wallace called This Is Water. And wait, hold on. Let me make sure it's David Foster Wallace and This Is Water. Yeah, I think it was a commencement speech that he gave, and it's really, really beautiful. And it talks about how this is like the antithesis of like what we're talking about today. And I know I'm complaining about stupid stuff, but our ability to be able to get through life's little annoyances, however that is, like that is the path to joy. Like how to not let these things actually sink in. I'm not the person to be telling this. It really is great. Okay, let's go on to our next submission. She's mad at Utah drivers. I'm mad at all drivers. Okay, she says, I need some big sister advice. My husband and I don't come from money, but we worked really hard and we had some good luck. Our parents have never paid for anything, and we've both always had at least one job and have managed to stay out of debt. Now we live in a very nice house in an even nicer neighborhood. We've recently made friends with a couple that live in a nearby town, and we often meet up for dinner, games, or go thrifting or hiking. Sorry, let me wet my whistle. Maddie, the issue is that she's consistently making comments about how our house is crazy or how much money we must have. I grew up in a trailer in Florida and I didn't even live in air conditioning until college. My parents couldn't afford to add me to their insurance, so I didn't even have insurance until I got my own job. We had to boil our own water because it wasn't safe to drink from the tap, and I've never ordered an appetizer in my life. I don't feel like I need to justify how I live or prove that I'm not in massive debt. We work hard and we live within our means. I don't see why that can't include a nice house in an area we like and we can see ourselves in for a long time. I also work in the public sector, so my salary is public information, can be found online. And she's mentioned she even looked it up, and it's crazy that we even have this house. I don't know, Maddie. It makes me uncomfortable, and I don't know what to say or how to bring it up. I like her, and she's made enough. I like her, but she's made enough comments speculating about our financial situation that are so borderline rude that I almost just don't want to hang out with her anymore. What would you do? Thanks. I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you. What an incredible story, an incredible thing that you've worked your way to where you are now. And I'm impressed and I'm proud of you. Here's the thing. If you want to find out somebody's childhood trauma, ask them to talk about money. Ask them to talk about how they were raised around money, how they were raised to talk about money, how they react when other people talk about money. I think that money and food, how you were raised talking about those two things can tell a lot about you and about your relationship dynamics, your goals, how you see your life. Like, money is tricky. And I'm also trying to figure out why I talk about money the way that I do. For me, I have a lot of like embarrassment around money. A lot of like, I want to keep it very private. I don't want, like, as at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, nobody look at my finances. Nobody look at how I spend things, because I just am when people are super open with money, I tense up and I go on guard, and I'm like, why are we talking about this? It's supposed to be a secret. I'm so confused. Like, I really struggle with that. And more than likely, this girl probably has some weird feelings around money because of how she was raised. However, I think if I was in this situation, I would probably say something to her. I think you could probably be direct without being like rude or anything. I think you could just say like, yeah, like we worked really hard and we've just made it to this point. And, or even saying, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like a conversational way to be like, yeah, I'm so proud of us. Like, I think that's normal too for friends to like celebrate their wins, especially financially. Like, I do feel really excited when my friends like get a really good brand deal, or they get a raise, or they are starting a business. Like, I think that celebrating like financial wins is a really important part of like adult friendships, because that's what everybody's dealing with, but also, remaining sympathetic to other people's financial situations, whatever that may look like. And so I think it would be fine for you to talk about like being proud of you guys, and like how you've worked your way up and how you've worked your way out of different situations. And I think that that's fine. And especially if it's like she's consistently kind of being condescending and talking down to like how you live or asking too many questions, I think that you can kind of play it off. Like, if she's getting really invasive, you can just kind of be like, oh yeah, those weekends at the strip club really, really added up, something stupid. I don't know, but I get it. Money is a hard thing. And a lot of times it's like a language that if you're not aligned with somebody on, like, it can be a real sticking point. Specifically in romantic relationships. Like, I wish that was something, I've talked about it before. Like, I wish I knew more about money and finances, period. But I also wish that I had known how to talk to somebody about it when I was in my early 20s dating people, because you're just not like thinking of, okay, what are our 40s and 50s going to look like? You just kind of think like, yeah, we both have jobs, whatever. It's all going to work out. But like, if you're younger and you're single and dating, like, I think that understanding how you feel about money and your expectations with money and how you want your partner to behave around money and like all of those things, goals, whatever. I think that those are really, really important conversations to have right up top. And money cannot buy happiness. It can't. I fully believe that. However, it can cause stress. Lack of money can cause stress. Financial stress is really, really, really hard. It's like, it's all consuming. Like, I have been in situations where I was literally out of, like, I remember I was in Washington, D.C. I had $278 in my bank account. No, my credit cards were maxed out. I had nothing. I just was like hoping that I could get home, and like I did barely. I remember I had to, oh man, I actually, whatever. Don't even need to get into that, but we got in a very bad situation and had to get out of it. And money stress it's bad. So I don't think that it can buy happiness. I think there's many, many, many sad, unhappy people who have a lot of money, but I think that it can be a stressor in a lot of cases. Lack of money can be a stressor. Not a hot take. Just, whatever. Okay, next one. The camera adds such a pressure that I was not expecting. And it's really, we're going to get the hang of this for sure. And I feel like it's going well. Is it going well for you? I hope so. Okay, next one. The See You in Hell episode. Sorry, I need another drink. If anyone feels guilty about accidentally stealing from major chains, they literally don't care. One time my boyfriend ordered me a book on Amazon. They accidentally sent him a nice speaker instead, which is a wild mess up. But when he called/emailed to try to return it and make it right, sweetie boy, they were just like, do you want to keep the speaker? And he was like, yeah, I guess. And they were like, okay, cool. Don't worry about it then. So everyone clear your consciences. Hear you me. If I could rob Amazon blind, I would do it. If I could steal from them every time, I would do it. If there was some hack that I could like fill out a survey 100 times and get a $20 gift card and I could rig the system, I would do it in a heartbeat. The amount of, like, this has also happened to me. Like, I've been sent the wrong item. I ordered magnesium pills. I got sent an extension cord, kept that because I actually did need it. Then I reached out and they said, yeah, we'll send you the magnesium. Don't worry about returning it. The next day, got a package. It was rubbing alcohol. I was like, "Okay, can you guys get this right?" It's like when Janet on The Good Place, like she gets reset and so she can't get anything right. And he's like, "I need the file for Eleanor Shellstrop." And she's like, "Here you go." And it's a cactus. And he's like, "No, the file for Eleanor Shellstrop." And she's like, "Here you go." And it's like an 18-foot sandwich. Like, that's what my Amazon experience was. And yeah, seriously, if I could rob them, I would. If I could steal from, are you kidding me? I would love to steal from Jeff Bezos more than anything. I just can't, can't quite get into the facility to start stealing. But yeah, I feel like I shouldn't say they don't care, but they're not feeling it. This is another thing we do at the Bad Broadcast. I encourage you to steal. No, I'm joking. Don't steal from small businesses. Only steal from billionaires and homophobes. All right, next one. In high school, I was good friends with a group of all guys. Loved it, loved the low drama, and loved them like brothers. Girl, you're not selling me on this. You're not selling me on this quite yet. Fast forward 10 years. I've gotten married and I have had 2 kids and become better at being friends with girls. Yay me, and thank God for the pod. Life happened and I haven't heard from them in years, but I would love to reconnect. I'm not sure if it's because I was the only girl in the group and now that I'm married, they feel weird about it or they keep in contact or if they even keep in contact with each other at all. I'm just at a loss about what to do. My husband very early on in our marriage thought it was weird and that I wanted to stay good friends with these guys. And I kind of understood where he was coming from, but now I'm feeling more empowered and I think my husband is just being insecure about it. I love him and support him, but his insecurity isn't my problem to deal with. Anyway, any insight or advice in a way to approach these guys, that would be awesome. Don't. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I love you. I do love you. I see where you're coming from. I don't support this. I just, like, in my life, I'll tell you what I would do or have done. Like, I had a close group of guy friends, really loved them. They went on, got married. I haven't talked to them in years. Every now and then I bump into them. I'm actually, like, you guys know, I have a sick obsession with running into people I went to high school with. Like, I just have to see, like, I have to know where people's lives took them. I don't keep up with really anybody that I went to high school with, except like my close group of friends. Which, like, even then it's like, we see each other when we're all in town. It's not like we're talking every day. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on with my high school people. And I need to know. So anyway, I bump into them, say hi, whatever. I I don't feel like I need to be friends with them. I also like, out of respect for their wives, like I would feel incredibly uncomfortable if my husband, had a group of guy friends that had one girl and then the girl reached out to him to like rekindle a friendship in our 30s and we all have kids and like life has moved on. I would feel very weird about it. I'll be completely honest. I get it. It's like feeling nostalgic for like that group of friends, whatever. I just, maybe in another life I was like under the impression that like, no, it's fine to have guy friends as a straight married woman. Like it's totally fine to go out and hang out with a bunch of guys like solo. I don't think that anymore. Couples for sure. Maybe a mixed group I can get behind, a few girls, somebody's husband there. I simply can't imagine hanging out with somebody else's husband. Like first of all, hate other people's husbands. I made a TikTok about it because I'm like, sometimes I see like trips, like friend trips where like somebody brings their husband. My jaw is embedded in the concrete when I see that. I can't believe like going on a trip with your girlfriends and then somebody's husband is there. Like if I'm going to spend time with a man, it's going to be my husband. And I don't know. I just think for sure for the courtesy of your husband, I don't think he's insecure. I think it's totally normal to not want your wife to have a group of guy friends. I think that that's not like crazy, insecure, controlling at all. I think that I would feel the same. And also for the wives of the group of guy friends. So keep at it. You're doing great. Making friends with girls. We need each other. Moms need moms. Women need women. I'm fully on board for that. Not so much on board for reaching out to the group of high school guy friends. And that is just my very straightforward advice. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings because I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think they need to hear from you. Okay, next one. You were the first podcast I started listening to, and I look forward to coming back every week. From personal experience, I know that divorce can be an incredible thing, so I'd love to see you thriving now. Anyway, I've got a dumb club submission for you. I grew up religious and I was very innocent. So when I heard the phrase more cushion for the pushin' when I was younger, I thought it was pretty clear that it was talking about childbirth. Like obviously that's going to be way more comfortable laying down with a big butt as a cushion when trying to give birth. Spoiler alert, that is not the actual definition. I was mortified thinking back to all the times I said it in high school and people commented on my butt, which was honestly a bit big for my body. I had no idea what was going through their minds because I was such a well-behaved, rule-following kid going to a religious high school. I remember explaining, for pushing out babies if I was asked about it. Why did nobody correct me? I cringe hard when I think about it, but I hope you and your lovely listeners can find some joy in my story. The way I was so mixed up, I did not understand what the term giving head meant. And then I got older and I learned that the foam on top of the beer is called the head of the beer. And so that's what I thought it was. And I was like, we're not allowed to talk about it because we're not allowed to drink alcohol. So like, we're not allowed to talk about beer. It was very confusing. So I relate. Cushion for the pushin'. I mean, I wish that having a big ass made pushing easier or made childbirth easier. Little did I know you're literally on your back the entire time or on all fours. I actually a couple weeks ago re-listened to my birth episode and I can't do that again. I can't re-listen to it. I'm so glad that I have it. I'm so glad that I have like those fresh moments like recorded. I mean, I was 6 weeks postpartum when I recorded my birth episode for you guys. And I can just hear in my voice like how bad I was struggling and like really trying to keep it together. And like, I even say in the episode, like, well, I'm really not struggling with like the bonding. I'm not struggling with loving motherhood. I totally was. But you don't know that when you're in it. You're like, this is just how it feels. And you're not supposed to like it right away. And I was barely hanging on. I feel like I'm still barely hanging on. I'm barely completing tasks. I'm finishing. I just made a TikTok about this. I'm like finishing everything by the skin of my teeth. I'm just like, if it is not a pressing issue right in front of me, it's not getting done. I can't even think about what I'm doing tomorrow. Like, nobody's freaking out enough about it. Like, this is hard. And now I'm at the point where I do love it. I love her. We have a relationship. We chit chat, we babble to each other, we play, we laugh. Like now that she's going to be 2 at the end of this year. Like she's a real person, but those early months are just really, really brutal. And you don't have the like relationship with them because they're basically a Tamagotchi that spits, and it's just a lot. So I don't know. Where was I even going with this? Oh, pushing out babies and my birth story and all of that. Yeah. Cushion for the pushing. Doesn't even make a whole lot of sense in the actual way. I mean, it's not making a difference in the pushing, you know? Okay. Let's wrap up with this one. This one is an Am I the Asshole? I think it's the last one. Yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole? My boyfriend has gotten into a new hobby, photography. He's extremely excited about it. I'm excited for him as well because he's very passionate and this is clearly something he loves. I try to be an active listener and engaged whenever he's talking about the camera or coloring aspects or the editing software he's using, i.e. asking questions and trying to absorb what he's saying so I can ask follow-ups, but I'm starting to get tired of listening to each new aspect of his new camera. I'm very excited for him and I'm very proud of him for pursuing a passion of his, but I find it really hard to stay actively engaged while listening to the different features on his new camera. After I've also had a long day at work, I also share about my hobbies or what I'm doing at work. And I know that isn't always exciting to listen to, but I try to keep it high level. I feel terrible when I catch myself thinking about how I want to move on to a different conversation or topic when all he wants to do is share a passion of his, but it's hard after a while to stay engaged. He's made comments before about he has never had someone who will pay attention and listen like I've been trying to these past few months. So I feel like I'm the asshole for those times that I do want to stop mid-sentence and say, I don't know what an aperture is. I don't really want to know why you're adjusting it. He doesn't have a lot of friends where we live and his parents have never been extremely supportive. So I feel a big responsibility to make sure he does have the encouragement he deserves. I don't mind listening all the time, but it's the explanation of the nitty gritty pieces where I get anxious to move on. If I'm the asshole, I get it. I've tried to be very engaged and will continue to be, but sometimes I want to come home and not listen to camera talk for hours. Totally valid. Totally valid. Sometimes shit gets boring. Not even necessarily just like passions and like hobbies and stuff. Just like sometimes conversations are just like, you just get bored. I think you're doing a great job. I think you do just kind of have to continue down the path that you're on, which is just like kind of being actively engaged, being a sounding board for it. I think it's totally fine to like make comments, not like snarky comments, not being like, yeah, I'm bored about this, but just be like, yeah, I don't understand it, but that sounds amazing. And like, I'm really happy for you. I think that probably him sharing is him wanting you to be proud of him, B, like validate that he's good at something and that he's smart, like that he's learning all about these new things. That's what I feel like. When I get a hyperfixation hobby, it's like, I just want somebody to be like, that's really cool that you're into that. And like, I'm so impressed that you've learned so much about it. So just validating that. I don't think you have to necessarily like be into it and like understand all of it, but I think that he probably just wants, it's a bid for connection. He wants to share his passion with you. So sweet. He wants to feel validated that he's good at what he does. And so I think that you can do that and not like linger on the conversation. I think it's fine to like switch the subject, give adequate validation, support, like engagement with it, and then move on to something. I think it's fine to do that. I don't think it's rude to change the subject. If he like is getting offended by it or something, maybe then you can, reevaluate how you're doing it. But I think that saying, yeah, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You've learned so much about it. Wow, that looks amazing. I love that. This, that. Did I tell you about what happened at work today? And then maybe give like a quick little anecdote. Don't overshadow. Don't make your hobbies more important than his. But, just kind of do a little switcheroo. Hey, what do you want to get for dinner? Hey, that looks awesome. Yeah, I'm going to order this. Keep the conversation flowing. I don't think you're an asshole for getting bored with stuff. Sometimes I'd be listening to Gray and I'm like, I forgot what you said like 3 words ago. Sometimes it's just, there's a lot on your mind. There's a lot going on. I think you're totally fine. And I think that you're aware enough to know if you actually do become a real asshole. Getting bored with your husband's stories, not an asshole move. I think we've all been there once or twice. And trust me, I know that I have droned on and on about topics that bore Gray to death, and bless his heart, he smiles and nods because I've gone over like family drama, friend drama, deconstruction, divorce, baby stuff. You really got to shut me up sometimes, like I'm going to do to myself right now. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. If you joined us on YouTube, thank you so much. It's fun and scary, and it's new for me, and new is scary. And I've also been in the same routine with the podcast for 5 years. So introducing a brand new thing has felt very intimidating, but I am happy that you're here, and I'm happy to continue to figure it out, improve it. And yeah, so thank you for being here. We always end the bad broadcast with our favorite saying in the book, which I have modified recently because we always remember to be safe, be kind, be hot. But we have also added perhaps the most important, and that is be normal. Be the most normal person you can be. Be extraordinary, be ridiculous, but when you're interacting with other people, be normal. I love you. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next week. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at The Bad Broadcast, and I will see you guys every single Monday back here. Have a great week. I love you. Bye.